This tutorial is how I like to pipe a hellebore flower, and I'm going to start off by showing you how I line the bag to get that little bit of green in the middle. Start off by placing your piping bag over a beaker so that you've got a really clear view of one of the seams up the side of the bag here. And then I'm going to turn that towards me so I can use an offset spatula just to get the buttercream straight along the edge of that bag. And the colour I'm using here is a little bit of Pro Gel Olive Green. So I'm going to take an amount like this and just run it up the inside of the piping bag. I'm not making it too thin, I want it to be quite thick. Not too over the top, but enough so you can see it coming through when you pipe your petal. And I'm just coming up the inside of the bag along the seam, so I've got a nice straight line like this. And then I'm going to fill the rest of the bag with my plain buttercream that I've added a tiny amount of whitener to. So before you add your buttercream into your bag, just give it a really good mix to knock the air out of it and make it nice and smooth. And then when it looks velvety smooth like this, take a small amount at a time and just smush it up the side of the bag. And then when you've put enough in, you can push all that down to the bottom of the bag and you're ready to pipe. So this is the white hellebore flower. It's got these gorgeous big white petals and this lovely little detailed centre. It's a lovely flower to add to your bouquets. To pipe this flower, you want a nice flat top cupcake. So if when you've baked your cakes you've got a little bit of a dome or a funny shape on the top, just take a knife and make it flat. And then I've given it a crumb coat in just a light green colour. So the piping tip I'm going to use for the petals with this sort of plain or slightly white buttercream in it is a GG1062. It's this nice crescent shaped thin piping tip. It's got ever so slight fat end, and this thin end at the top is always going to be what creates the edges of your petals. And I've run the green up the bag so that it's at the base, at the fat end of that tip, so that will come out in the center of the petals when you pipe them. For the centers, you just want these tiny little round piping tips. This is a number 0 piping tip. It's really tiny round, and this one I want it to be the same size, but I thought I'd show you when I'm going to pipe tiny details like this. I prefer to just snip a piece off the end of the piping bag, because if you get a little rock or sugar crystal in the bag, you can quite easily push it out of the bag when it hasn't got a piping tip in it. You can't unclog it from this tiny little piping tip, so I find it much less stressful to just snip a tiny amount off the end of the bag. And then to fill in any gaps, I'm using a 352 leaf tip. So that's your bird's beak leaf tip. And I've got a little bit of olive green in here. So for the colours, I've added a tiny little bit of whitener to some plain buttercream. I've got a real light yellow in this one, and the greens are just Pro Gel Olive Green. So to start with, take up your petal tip, push all your buttercream down to the bottom of the bag. Remember, don't have too much in it, and make sure that your bag is nice and tight and that you've got this green bit running along the fat end. Now I'm going to leave the centre clear and pipe 5 big petals around the edge of the cupcake. I'm starting off by holding the piping tip parallel to the cupcake. I'm going to come up from the center a little bit, come up, out to the top, turn the cake as you come back down. So you're creating a pointy edge to this petal. So I'm turning the cake as I come back round. So come up the side of this petal. Now angle it to its point. Turn the cake as you come back down. It's almost like a diamond shape that you're piping. Come up the side of this petal, angle it to a tip, come back down and round to the beginning. So you've made 5 big petals. Now I'm going to come over the top of each one, but this time I'm going to angle the tip up ever so slightly so that I don't ruin the petal underneath it. So come up the side of that petal, angle it to a point, turn the cake as you angle it back down to where you began. Just think of a lovely big diamond shape. Up, out, out, down. Come up the side, out, back down, back to the middle. And there's your petals on. Now I'm going to fill in the center with some tiny little details. So I'm going to take up this olive green one first. And I'm just going to clean this off a little bit. So you use the piping bag like this in exactly the same way as you would as if there was a piping tip in it. Push it all down to the bottom and make sure it's nice and tight. Not too much in the bag so you've got full control over it. Now just touch down in the center, squeeze slowly and lift, stop and come off. So you're making these tiny little spikes. You could use a grass piping tip for this if you wanted to, do them all in one fell swoop. I find they come out quite thick when I do that, and for this flower I want them to be really, really tiny. So that's why I just snip a little bit off the end of the piping bag. They're all different lengths, they're not all exactly the same size. I'm not trying to make them all uniform. I just want to fill in the center with lots of these tiny little stamen. So keep turning the cake, touch down, squeeze, lift and come off. Touch, squeeze, lift and come off. And I'm turning the cake like this so that I keep it nice and rounded and even. And then when you've filled in the center, I'm just going to go round the edge of that with this really light yellow colour. So again, you want to push all the buttercream down to the bottom. Make sure your bag is really nice and tight. And I'm just going to come around the edge of those greens. I'm going to angle it outwards a little bit now. So I'm coming right to the base of the greens. Touch down, squeeze, pull out, come off. Touch, squeeze, pull out, come off. It's quite a gentle squeeze. You want them to be really small and delicate. So I'm coming right to the very base here, so I'm covering any gaps between the middle and the petals. Keep turning the cupcake so that your piping hand is in the comfortable position. And come all the way around. And when I've gone all the way around, I'm just coming around again underneath. And if there's any gaps underneath where I think one would make it look a little bit fuller, I'm just adding another one in between. Touch down, squeeze and pull out, come off. And these aren't uniform and all exactly the same size either. You just want to add this little bit of detail by putting quite a few in. And then I'm going to fill in these gaps in between the petals with a leaf. So take up the 352 leaf tip. You remember this is the bird's beak, so you want to point where you want your leaf to be. And your buttercream will ooze out of the sides as you squeeze. So push all the buttercream down to the bottom of the bag. Make sure it's nice and tight and you don't need too much in your bag. Now I'm going to angle this parallel to the cupcake. So instead of coming upwards, I'm going to come outwards, because I just want to fill in the gap. So I'm going to point where I want my leaf to be, squeeze, pull out, come off. So point where you want your leaf to be, give a little squeeze, and then pull off. Now if your gap's slightly smaller, you can just put one leaf in. It doesn't matter how many leaves you put in, you just want to cover that gap. And there you go, that's how I like to pipe a hellebore flower.